Hello and welcome to Vietnam Journal, our daily English news bulletin on NETVIET VTC10. I'm Ngọc Ánh speaking from Hanoi. Every day we'll bring you comprehensive and up-to-date information about Vietnam and following our major stories on Monday. Belgian Crown Prince starts official visit to Vietnam. DVD screening and lectures on Japan's earthquake held in Hanoi. International women visit Vietnamese Women's Museum. Belgian Crown Prince Philip and a large business delegation have started an official visit to Vietnam. The Belgian embassy in Hanoi held a press conference to introduce upcoming events in the visit from March the 11th to the 16th.
The Belgian ambassador to Vietnam and ministers from Belgium attended the press meeting. The ministers said the delegation includes business representatives from 3 Belgian regions, namely Flanders, Wallonia and Brussels. This is the 3rd official visit to Vietnam of the delegation. Belgium's ministers shared information on 13 memoranda of understanding to be signed during this visit. During the trip, the delegation will attend conferences in 4 main fields, including transport and infrastructure, green technology, agriculture and food processing, and health. On March the 11th, the Belgian Crown Prince and Princess together with the delegation visited and took photos at the Ngọc Sơn Temple and around Hoàn Kiếm Lake in Hanoi.
We'll bring you updated information on the Belgian Crown Prince and his delegation's visit to Vietnam in the coming news bulletins. We'll now move on to some other news. Vietnamese government has allowed rice exporters to stockpile an equivalent 1 million tons of milled rice for 3 months. The move is aimed to help prevent prices from falling during the peak of the harvest. Member companies of the Vietnam Food Association will be able to buy rice between March the 15th and April the 30th and keep it in stock until June the 15th. Companies buying under this stockpiling scheme will get interest-free loans from banks. The stockpile targets about 1/5 of the winter-spring crop output. Paddy prices have fallen on ample supplies, while export demand remains thin. Traders said the stockpile could have stirred buying demand because foreign buyers have been waiting for Vietnamese prices to ease. And following is some other economic news in brief.
PetroVietnam Oil and Gas Group plans to sell a 49% stake in its Dung Quất oil refinery to 3 foreign partners. The foreign partners expected to buy Dung Quất stake are from Venezuela, Japan and the Republic of Korea. The PVN's refinery aims to use money received from the sale to raise its capacity to 200,000 barrels per day from the current figure of 130,500 barrels, which is about 6.5 million tons.
Asian hospitality giant Genting Group is looking to invest in its second integrated gaming and resort complex in Vietnam, in northern Quảng Ninh province. The Malaysian group signed a memorandum of understanding with Quảng Ninh province for studying the feasibility of developing the complex in the local Vân Đồn economic zone. Genting obtained an investment certificate for the building of a $4 billion integrated gaming and resort complex in central Quảng Nam province in 2009.
Agencies in Vietnam and the Republic of Korea are currently completing necessary administrative procedures for shipping Vietnamese mangoes to Korean market. The South Korean Plant Protection Agency sent a delegation to Vietnam earlier to inspect production and packaging procedures. They will be drawing up official standards Vietnamese mangoes must meet before they are exported to Korea in the next couple of months.
Frontage street houses in urban areas often make people think of a narrow, cramped architectural space. However, more and more environmental-friendly frontage street houses are propping up in Ho Chi Minh Metropolitan. Let's visit a typical house of this kind in this Asian country's largest city.
Looking from the outside, this house has no special characteristic. It seems even simpler than the other houses along the street. If any, it may be the impression on the window frames, with racemes of flowers hanging down, swaying with the wind. However, stepping inside, the difference can be immediately noticed with sunny rooms and natural environment. System of trees are located in areas where daily human activities are taking place. This makes people's lives get closer to the nature. The owner of the house shared that, thanks to the natural light and wind, her family always live in the fresh air every day.
Trong ngôi nhà này thì thấy gió thì cũng nó vô nhiều thì thấy cũng mát mẻ, vẫn bình thường, ánh sáng thì cũng vẫn bình thường, tại vì cửa sổ mình sẽ chừa nhiều đó.
According to the architects, the reason why the house is getting so much light is because of the source of the light. It is taken from the middle of the house through the design of 3 parallel air wells, each with a different size and height. As a result, sunlight is always received. Lighting time is also longer. Meanwhile, in comparison with taking light from the front as a conventional architect, this design also reduces noise and dust. Every story, even the deepest corner of the house, has access to the light. Furthermore, this structure also creates a pressure difference between outside and inside. Just the air in the house is always moving and then replaced with other fresh air flow.
Khi trời thứ nhất nó dừng ở tầng 2 thì ánh sáng ở cái khu vực tầng 2 là nó được phân tán, và từ đó nó sẽ có tán xạ lên một phần trên tầng 3. Và cái giếng trời thứ hai nó cũng như nguyên lý như thế, nó dừng ở tầng 3 thì ánh sáng nó được phân bổ ở tầng 3 và một phần ánh sáng nó lại được tán xạ lên trên tầng trên nữa. Thì như thế thì các cái phòng tòa nhà gần như là ánh sáng được đồng đều.
The more advanced society becomes, the more people demand environment-friendly lives. To live in a house full of sun, wind, and a green space, people not only feel healthier, but also comfortable, and at the same time, power consumption in daily use is minimized. This explains the trend that residents of large cities like to live in a natural and friendly environment.
Vietnam Journal. It's not just news, it's life in Vietnam.
Welcome back to our news bulletin. The Japan Foundation for Cultural Exchange in Vietnam hosted a DVD screening and lectures on the March the 11th Tohoku earthquake in Hanoi on Saturday. The event marked 1-year anniversary of the disastrous Tohoku earthquake in Japan.
At the National Library of Vietnam, the audience had a chance to watch the documentary titled A Remembrance of the March 11th Tohoku Earthquake. The film looks back at the earthquake and tsunami hitting Japan in 2011. It also covered the great efforts Japanese people and foreign friends jointly made to restore Japan in the aftermath of the disaster. After the film, lectures from 2 Japanese professors about experiences and lessons learned from the natural disaster were heard. They also spoke about the role and activities of architects during and after the earthquake. The program is also hosted in Ho Chi Minh City today with free admission.
Paul Nguyen, a Vietnamese Canadian, has received the Diamond Jubilee Medal from Britain's Queen Elizabeth II. The medal is meant to honor his contribution to the local community.
The medal is in honor of Nguyen's great promoting of mutual understanding between different people living in the country and helping disadvantaged children in the Vietnamese community. Paul Nguyen, a Vietnamese Canadian, is the founder of the JaneFinch.com in 2004. His website provides young people with a fascinating window into social issues such as poverty and unemployment. Nguyen also got the Paul Yu Zik Award for Minister of Citizenship, Immigration and Multiculturalism in 2010.
Recently, a group of Spanish-speaking women paid a visit to Vietnam's Women's Museum in Hanoi. The short visit left unforgettable memories in the foreign visitors about Vietnamese women in history.
These women are members of Spanish-speaking women club in Hanoi. They include Madam Ambassadors in Hanoi and women who went to Hanoi to pursue their work. Every month they gather and hold activity to exchange experiences and feelings from the very first day they came to Hanoi. To many people, the Vietnamese Women's Museum is quite familiar, while some others have never visited to this museum before. Consequently, in March, when there is International Women's Day, they decided to gather and visit the Vietnamese Museum to discover about the Vietnamese women in the past.
I have been 5 times already. I came to live to Hanoi 3 years ago. So I came the first time 3 years ago when it was the little one. The first time I came alone. And after I came with my husband because everything was so beautiful. We came together, and every time that they have new things here, I just come along.
These visitors had a chance to see objects to understand life of Vietnamese women in each historical period. The objects here are displayed under the themes Vietnamese women in family, in history, and Vietnamese women's fashion. To these Western women who are unfamiliar with ethnic culture, the objects bring unforgettable impression on the unique culture of Vietnamese women.
So I'm living in Vietnam for 1 year, so I can see that Vietnamese woman is a really strong example for the world. I think the Vietnamese woman is an important person in the family, and everybody else is around the Vietnamese woman because it's the one that has the values, the culture, and the traditions, and teach this to the son and to the daughter, to the children, and then the culture never ends, the tradition never ends because of the Vietnamese woman in the family.
The showcase Vietnamese women in the family does not only bring the unique culture of Vietnamese to these visitors, but also show the importance of Vietnamese women in building a family. The rudimentary tools of Vietnamese people in the past have somehow recreated the hard labor life of Vietnamese women.
Yes, I have tried because I want to understand how hard it could be, especially for Vietnamese women who are usually very thin and slim, not very strong, like in my country, for example. But I think it's very hard. So I think you have to be very proud of your women because they are very strong. It was really difficult.
The visit to Vietnamese Women's Museum is short, but it is an unforgettable experience to these foreign women living in Hanoi. It helps them to understand the importance of Vietnamese women and understand difficulties and hard life of Vietnamese women in the past.
The story about the visit to Vietnamese Women's Museum has wrapped up our news bulletin today. For comments and feedbacks, please send us an email to netvietdaily@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching. We wish you a happy new week and see you again tomorrow.